Read the next hadith.
الرحمن الرحيم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم آتي باب الجنة يوم القيامة فأستفتح فيقول القاضي من أنت؟ فأقول محمد فيقول بفعل المنافق أفتح بأثر قبل
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Wa anhu, we speak about Anas, wa an Anasin. We finished the previous hadith properly, ne? No, I think there's some misplaced. No, with the previous one. I think there's some we should do something. Yeah, okay, read the previous one again. There's some misplaced. تبعا تبعا. Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وعن أنس قريت أخبار أنس قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رسول said أنا أكثر الأنبياء تبعا. I will be the most of all the Anbiya with regards to taban. It's like you can say it's like a ستمييز also مفعول يوم القيامة on the day of Qiyamah. وأنا أول من يقرأ باب الجنة, and I'm the first one who will knock on the door of Jannah. رواه مسلم. Imam Muslim narrates this particular riwayat. So interesting thing here, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is saying emphatically that he will have the most followers on the day of Qiyamah. Right? He's saying he will have the most followers on the day of Qiyamah. That's the first thing. And one of the reasons why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will have the most followers is because his miracle. Remember, all the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wa taslim were blessed with miracles, and his miracle is a living miracle. It did not terminate and finish with him. As long as creation or mankind stay in this dunya, right? As you always say in this dunya, the Quran will be there. And the Quran will continue to guide people towards it till today. And the beauty thing about the Quran is even though it is read in another language, to really appreciate the full beauty of the Quran, it must be read in Arabic. And then that's why the Quraysh, etc., they were so impressed with the Quran, right? Because they understood the Arabic, right? But the Quran is so unique that even people that read it in a different language, they continue to be impressed, and they will be impressed till Qiyamah Day. Nowadays, with the advent of social media, etc., etc., how many times don't you see that people read the Quran? I read the Quran and I was just blown away. I was interested in Islam and I decided to read the Quran, and I felt as though Allah Ta'ala, the Lord of the world, is addressing me directly. So that is one of the reasons why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's followers continue to increase. So the other prophets, they were there, they performed a miracle, people were impressed, they accepted, and he passed away and it was finished. Right? And if a new Nabi came, then they followed the new Nabi. But Nabi Sallallahu, although he passed away, his Quran continues to inspire millions, billions. So definitely one of the greatest miracles, because remember we're speaking about the virtues of Nabi Sallallahu. One of the greatest virtues of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the Quran. Now there are many hadiths that speak about the different miracles of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yes, there are books written on the subject matter. There is also a book called Khasa'is Kubra. Okay, maybe not the miracles, but like the specialities, the virtues of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Here the Sharih, he said, look here, we're going to discuss all the specialities or the miracles. And let me just, for sake of convenience, let me put it all in one place for you, just for sake of, although it will come as we go through all the hadith, inshallah, it will come randomly, but just Let's put it on one place for the sake of convenience. Remember the first hadith we done at Nabi Sallallahu. You can say his seed, it went from generation to generation to generation, and then Allah Ta'ala made it manifest itself in the best generation. And this is also borne out by, or rather, you can say, Ibn Mas'ud's statement is borne out by this. Remember, we done this in the Mishkaat Sharif, or Ismail. Remember, we done it in the Mishkaat Sharif about where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or rather, Ibn Mas'ud said that Allah Ta'ala looked into all the hearts of the people, and then He chose he chose the companions of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam for him, etc., etc. Remember that ittala Allahu ala qulub ibn Adam. I can't remember the exact words, but Nabi Allah Ta'ala looked at the hearts of all of the believers, and He chose the Sahaba Kiram especially to be the companions for this noble mission. So that same thing we're saying there, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, or he was chosen. His appearance must come from amongst the best people. His second thing, he is the leader of all of the creation. Second one is, you will have the most followers. And there's a hadith where even he implored, he said, he asked that you must try to help him, assist him by having the most followers. Nabi Sallallahu will be the first one to come out of his qabr on Qiyamah Day. Remember, for the second nafakha, when people come out of the qabr, he was the first one to intercede on Qiyamah Day. Like with the hadith we done now, he will be the first person to knock on the doors of Jannat so that we all can enter Jannat, so that we all can enter Jannat. Nabi Sallallahu is the last of the prophets. These people that give you all those funny stories about Mirza, Ghulam Ahmad, etc., being a prophet. In fact, I just, I told you before, I used to be on all those chats with all those funny characters. Just this morning, for the time, I was checking my phone. Here, I'm going to show you something. This guy got in his status here. He said, there's a hadith that says that Isa alayhi salam, we done it. Isa alayhi salam, he will be buried in the same chamber with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is buried there. Remember, we done it hadith. We done it hadith there. Remember? Now, because we believe Isa alayhi salam will come, right? And he will live. And like how we done the hadith, and he will rule, etc. Hakam and Adlan. So what they said, they tried to use the same hadith to prove the validity of their Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. So they say he's the Isa that Allah Ta'ala is speaking about. He's Isa some reincarnated. That's what I'm saying. So if we tell him, look here, but now Nabi Sallam said Isa will be buried with Muhammad Sallallahu in the same grave. But your Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, he died of cholera, he died in the toilet, and he's buried in India. So he can't be Isa alayhi salam. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, there's no objection. Just see this. Explaining the prophecy that the promised Messiah will enter. This I'm reading directly from this Qadiani's profile picture that I saw. Actually, I saw it after Fajr this morning. Explaining the prophecy that the promised Messiah will enter the grave of the Holy Prophet. The promised Messiah says, this means that the promised Messiah will be close to the Holy Prophet, that after his death he will again attain the status that will be equal to that of the Holy Prophet, and his soul will merge with the body of the Holy Prophet as if they're in one grave. This is the real meaning. SubhanAllah. So what the hadith say? The hadith say that Isa alayhi salam will be buried in the same place where Nabi Sallam is buried. So now they can't answer that because Mirza Ghulam Ahmad died there in Qadian and he's buried there. He died in the toilet. Isa alayhi salam will die honorable death and he will be buried in the same grave of Nabi Sallam. This guy died of cholera and he died in the toilet and he's in India. So now they give the hadith a spin. It means that being buried with Nabi Sallam means you will have the same status as Nabi Sallam. Can a British agent man who defecated himself to death, can he have the same status as Nabi Sallam? Can a charlatan, a crook that claims Nubuwwat, Nabi Sallam clearly said, Ana khatamun nabiyyin. I am the final prophet. I am the final prophet. This man, he doesn't accept Nabi Sallam. He's not even a Muslim, but he's claiming that he is. And it's the same status of Nabi Sallam, right? La hawla wa la. Then the next miracle of Nabi Sallam is, I tell you this, that the Quran is a living miracle. It inspired millions and will continue to inspire till the day of Qiyamah. How many times you see that I read the Quran? Nabi Sallam has been given, like you can say, an aura of fear. that his enemies, even if it's 1 month's journey away from him, they would fear him. Then we done a little bit of this also in Hidayah Sharif, that the entire earth has been made a masjid. That means we don't say that if you're not close to a masjid. Yes, obviously, we say there's more virtue for reading Salah in a masjid, and a man must go to the masjid. La jara li salati al masjid illa fil masjid. That's in his place. But what we're saying is the validity of Salah in the absence of a masjid, or in the absence of a masjid, or in the absence of the ability, the qudra to go to the masjid, you still can read wherever you want. Your Salah does not become maaf. You understood that? And then also we done this in Hidayah Sharif. Remember that hadith we done? That in the absence of water, or the absence of the ability to use water, Allah Ta'ala has made the sand a taharat for you. Then the next speciality of Nabi Sallam, he's a universal prophet. If you look at the previous prophets, maybe the nubuwwat was time specific, or the nubuwwat was location specific. Nabi Sallallahu was after he was made a Nabi, he was a Nabi for the entire world. He's a Nabi for the entire world and till Qiyamah, right? He was Jawami ul Kalim. Who knows what Jawami ul Kalim? Like we say in English, comprehensive. What does comprehensive mean, Luqman? What comprehensive means? It's few words, but it has a complete meaning. So in few words, you mention few words, but that few words will be loaded. It will be pregnant with meaning, right? Then the next one is this here, that the Male Ghanimat, the booty of war, it was halal for them. Now remember, if you remember, I told you I made some reference to this. We were doing tafsir, né? That what Samiri told the people that this goal, etc., that you people had of the Coptics, of the Egyptians, is not halal for you. It is not halal for you. That's why we have to make the golden calf. So so maybe it wasn't halal in their Shariat, but in our Shariat it is halal. Male Ghanimat, obviously it must go through the Amir, and the Amir will divide it, etc., etc. You understand that? Allah Ta'ala had given Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam the keys to the treasures of the earth, right? Allah Ta'ala, that was, he was given a choice. If you want anything from this dunya, but he said, I chose poverty, I chose poverty. The entire earth was folded up and shown to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In today's day and age, it's not difficult to understand this, like how, like on the screen, you can see so much. You understand what I'm saying? Wherever Nabi Sallam would look, wherever his sight would fall, that he would come under his rulership, the Muslim rule. If not in his lifetime, then after his lifetime, he was given, in the hadith will do, he was given the red treasure and the white treasure. Some ulama explain this to mean the red treasure refer to the Romans because they are like reddish in color, Europeans. And some ulama, and the white is referred to the Persians, and some ulama say this refer to the treasures of gold and silver that came into the Muslims' hands. The next thing is Allah Ta'ala promised Nabi Sallam that his ummah will not be, the whole ummah, yet will not be destroyed by a drought. Yes, maybe individual. This ummah will not be destroyed. Oh, that is maybe, they won't be routed altogether. Yes, maybe certain portions of ummah they will face defeat, but not to say that they will be totally annihilated to such a point that Islam will cease to exist. He was sent as a shelter towards the Arabs. Nabi Sallallahu was the first of the Anbiya. We'll do this also. That was even before the other Anbiya. He was given the Nur of Nubuwwat. He is the result of the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. What is the dua? In the Quran is mentioned, just resurrect from my people, yu'allimul kitab wal hikmata wa yuzakkihim. That verse in the Quran, right? He is the result of the prophecy of Isa alayhi salam. That's what it's called. Yubashiruhu binabin ismu Ahmad, that comes right? He will write in Quran also. All of creation, all of mankind will be gathered under his flag on Qiyamah Day. He is known as Habibullah. He will be the only person to speak on Bayt al-Hashr. He will be I can say, the spokesperson for everybody on Qiyamah Day. On Qiyamah Day, he will be given clothes of honor, and he will given be a place by the Arash of Allah Ta'ala to intercede. He will be granted the wasila. We explained this here also, that is to intercede. And he will be granted Hawd al-Kawthar. And then all his mistakes, remember we say the Anbiya are free from sins, but all his previous past mistakes will be forgiven. He's the only one, this Ummah is the only one who will be given the Chas Salah, the morning, what we say, Ishraq Salah. And interesting here, he's mentioned that if the entire creation is put on one pan of the scale, the entire creation besides Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Nabi Sallallahu is put on one scale, then his virtue will be more virtuous in all. Because even the Anbiya, his virtue will be more than all the others, including the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wa taslim. Are you with me? محمد سيد القونين وثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. Okay, read the next hadith. Yeah, okay, we done the translation of that one, right? Right, carry on. Allah aftaha. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Also in the Tarat of Anas radiallahu anhu said, the Rasul said, Ati bab al-Jannah, I will come to the door of Jannah, يوم القيامة, on the day of Qiyamah, فأستفتح, I will seek it to be open, I will request, فيقول الخازن, then the gatekeeper will say, من أنت, who are you? فأقول محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم, I am Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. فيقول بك أمرت ألا أفتح لأحد قبلك, it is you that I have been commanded that I do not open the door for anyone besides you. In other words, nobody can enter Jannah before you. Yes, once you enter Jannah, everybody else can enter. Rawahu Muslimun. Imam Muslim narrates this particular riwayat. Okay, so that's pretty simple. That Nabi Sallallahu has the honor, the accolade, that nobody, now normally, like, when you got a very respected guest coming to your house, right? Maybe somebody, and maybe he even got a little bit delayed. You won't start serving the food before him. What will you do? You say, no, the main guest is not here. The main guest is not here. Yeah, right. So, like I was telling you, you got a guest coming to your house, right? And maybe he's a little bit delayed. You even are hungry. Will you dish up the food before him? You won't dish up the food before him. You say, no, the main guest of honor is not here. We can't dish up before him. Once he comes, you dish up. So same thing like this here, that nobody can enter Jannah. The guest of honor must enter first, right? Like maybe in our terminology now, if something special you're opening or something, you cut the ribbon. Who will cut the ribbon? The guest of honor, the most revered person. Same thing, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will cut the ribbon. He will be the first person. I'm just saying cut the ribbon because it's how we normally express it. Doesn't mean maybe you'll cut the ribbon there, right? Kareem, next slide is fine.
أن أول الصوفين الجنة لم يصدق نبي من الأنبياء ما صدقت من الأنبياء نبيا وما صدقه
Subhanallah. Also narrated وعنه narrated authority was Anas radiallahu ta'ala, the Rasul said, أنا أول شفيع, I will be the first intercessor, I will intercede. And I was in Qiyamah Day, remember the lengthy hadith we done, that the people will be in difficulty, they will be in pareshani, and they will go from Nabi to Nabi to Nabi to Nabi, and the Nabi is the one who have the courage. Say, أنا أول شفيع في الجنة لم يصدق نبي من الأنبياء ما. Who knows how to translate this? Who can translate this? لم يصدق نبي من الأنبياء ما صدقته. Who can translate it? Can I give it a shot, Luqman? Ismail, you want to give it a shot? Pretty simple. If I tell you, you're going to kick yourself. Easy, what it means. Pretty easy. لم يصدق نبي من الأنبياء ما صدقته. What does it mean? Huh? Loud? Right, very good, mashallah. No Nabi, so see, Lam yusaddaq Nabiyun. No Nabi, okay, just to make it easy to translate this. No Nabi from the Anbiya was accepted. And what I was accepted. But it means that no Nabi was accepted as much as what I was accepted. In other words, from the time of Adam alayhi salam till Qiyamah, simple words, no Nabi was believed in as much as I will be believed in. Or maybe not believed in, we can say maybe not, I don't know, maybe accepted as a Nabi. You understood it? So, لم يصدق نبي من الأنبياء ما صدقت. No Nabi was accepted. People accept as much as I was accepted, or much as I will be accepted, right? Then, right? This is interesting. I bet you never know this. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ نَبِيًّا. Verily from amongst the Anbiya there was a Nabi, مَا صَدَّقَهُ مِنْ أُمَّتِي. None believed him or accepted him from his ummah إِلَّا رَجُلٌ وَاحِدٌ, except one person. Rawah Muslimun, Imam Muslim uh, narrated this. So this here, something interesting we learn from this here also. Okay, the hadith, the relevance of the hadith with the chapter is quite obvious, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be the most widely accepted. And besides this hadith, if you look at the other hadiths, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will take a great deal of pride in his great numbers. He'll be very happy about his numbers. So you must assist him to that in doing da'wat and tabligh, etc., etc. But that's now the main theme of the hadith here. But another thing that I want to point out to you is this: sometimes a person, you know, he's afraid to speak the haqq is because he feels that people won't accept what he's saying. So he only makes, like you say, amr bil ma'ruf, but he does not make nahi anil munkar. He doesn't make nahi. He does not call out the ills of the society because he fear people will turn away from him. But that should never be a deterrent. If you look at these celebrity shuyukh, these influencers that speak on YouTube, that speak on internet and all this type of things, must listen very carefully to what they speak. They only make amr bil ma'ruf. They only speak like calling towards good, but they never call out the evils in the society. They never call out the evils. Why don't they call the evils out in the society? Because they're in the business of generating a lot of followers. So that when you start speaking against people, then obviously they turn away from you. They turn away from you. But that should never be a deterrent. Even if one person is ready to accept the haqq, you should speak the haqq. Even if one person is ready to speak the haqq, you should speak the haqq. Not worry that people will turn away from you. Not worry that people will turn away from you. So do not become disillusioned if you are on the haqq and you are on the Quran and you are on the Sunnah, and there's only one person listening to you, there's only one person following you, there's only one person attending your lessons, whatever. Do not become disillusioned. There were Anbiya alayhimus salatu wa taslim that only had one follower. That only had one follower. So the idea is not to increase your followers. The idea is not to increase your likes. The idea is not to increase your amount of people following you. The idea is preservation of deen. That should be the foremost thing. That you as an alim, you shouldn't fine tune your kalam. You shouldn't fine tune your lectures to such that it is palatable to people and more and more people will follow you. Then you're in the business of followers. But what is your primary objective? What is your primary objective? Your primary objective is the preservation of deen. So now you're going to interpolate, adulterate, and change the deen so it is more acceptable to people. No. even if you have one follower. Yeah, wa anbiya alayhimu salatu wa taslim only had one follower. If you have now, we're not saying here that you must be abusive, rude, harsh. You must speak the truth, but in a diplomatic manner, in a respectful manner, etc., etc. But do not let fear of speaking the truth or loss of followers or becoming unpopular be a deterrent from speaking the truth. Are you with me? So having one follower and speaking deen is pristine, unadulterated form is better than having millions of followers and adulterating, interpolating the deen and sugarcoating things, which is not the essence of deen. Anyway, uh, just looking at the hadith, في الجنة أنا أول شفيع في الجنة. Yeah, obviously, we know that Shafa'at will not be in Jannah. Shafa'at will be on Qiyamah Day. Am I right or wrong? So it means, أنا أول شفيع للجنة. I will be the first person that will make intercession so that Hisab Kitab can start and people can enter Jannah. أنا أول شفيع لأجل الجنة أي لدخولها. ما صدقت. What is my masdariya? Ne? When ma comes in front of a fail, what is ma mawsuliya and why is ma masdariya? It gives the meaning of the masdar. So in other words, لم يصدق نبي من الأنبياء مقدار تصديقي. Right? مقدار تصديقي. Nobody was accepted or nobody will be accepted like how I will be accepted. And I told you one of the reasons is this year. Oh, we discussed this already, but just was relevant here because the miracles of the other Anbiya they expired when he passed, when the respective prophet passed away, and also Nabi Sallam is kafatan linnasi ila yawm al-qiyamah. Okay, read the next hadith, inshallah.
بنيانه ترك منه موضع التي أصاب به النصارى يتعجبون من إلى موضع فكنت أنا وجدت موضع اللبن وكتنا بالبنيان وفي رواية أنا اللبنة وأنا قاتل النبيين.
Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Beautiful hadith. I love it. One Abu Hurairah, narration of Abu Hurairah. قال رسول مثلي, my example, ومثل الأنبياء, and the example of the Anbiya, كمثل قصر, is like of a beautiful palace, of a beautiful building. أحسن بنيانه, it has been built, its building has been done so beautifully, but ترك منه موضع لبنة, but the space of a brick has been left. So something can be absolutely beautiful, but if it's incomplete, for example, you got the most beautiful jacket here, for example. What jacket you got there? Let me see. What's it, huh? Loud? The rain. But say, for instance, that one cup is not there. The whole thing is complete, but just the cup. You got a cup there, what? You got a cup. Okay, that last part is cut off there. The last part is cut off. But it's such a beautiful jacket. But since this 5 centimeters cut off there from the jacket there, how does it look? Incomplete. Even if I give you another jacket which is worth quarter the price, but the jacket is complete, you go for that complete jacket which is quarter the price. You understand what I'm saying? So, uh, no matter how beautiful something is, but if it's incomplete, it's then it's like you say defective. فطاف به النظار. What you got? النظار والنظار. Nothing you keep down. Onlookers, they نظار, نظر from onlookers, they walked around it. يتعجبون من حسن بنيانه. They were impressed with the beauty of its workmanship. But إلا موضع تلك اللبنة, except the place of that one brick. فكنت أنا سددت موضع. So I'm the one that will fill in, cover the place of that brick. وختم بي البنيان, and the building will be completed with me. وختم بي الرسل, and the prophets will be completed with me. وفي رواية فأنا اللبنة, I am that brick. وأنا خاتم النبيين, and I am the last of the prophets. muttafaqun alayh. I'm the seal of the prophets. What is seal? SEAL. When you put a seal on something, what happens? Nothing else can come in, nothing else can go out. So if Nabi Sallallahu is the seal of the prophet, what does it mean? No prophet can come after that. Are you with me? Muttafaqun alayh, and this is a muttafaq alayh riwayat. So the Quran, the Hadith, the Sunnah. Remember our sources of here, the Quran, the Hadith, the Sahaba Ikram, the Ijma, the Qiyas. The Quran is clear. The Sunnah is clear. Ijma of the Ummah is clear. There is no prophet after Nabi. So how on what basis do the people claim there's a prophet after Nabi? Remember even what was the Ridda wars about? Musailamatul Kazab, Aswad unseen, these people. Why did Azza Abu Bakr go fight them? Because they claimed prophethood. There was also another lady. What was her name? In the time of Abu Bakr, there was a lady, also a prophetess. She claimed prophethood. You, you don't know, can't remember. There was a prophetess also that she claimed prophethood, etc. So why did Hazrat Abu Bakr fight all these people? Because they claim prophethood. So you've even got the ijma of the Sahaba Ikram. So on what basis can people still accept? How can a person of intelligence accept still that the prophet can come after Nabi? It's really shocking. It's like shocking that the Quran is clear, the Sunnah is clear, the ijma is clear, the Sahaba Ikram is clear. On what basis can he be so stupid still to accept the Nabi? Anyway, read the next hadith.
وعنه
But they say in Arabic, لكل ساقطة لاقطة لكل ساقطة لاقطة. For everything that falls down, there is somebody to pick it up. For everything that falls down, there is somebody to pick it up. So even if a dry piece of bread falls down, somebody will come and pick up. So even if the person comes with the most absurd and with the most weirdest of claims, there is still somebody come to accept and see what they're saying.
وعنه وجواب قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ومن الأنبياء أن يجد إلا قد هو فيأتي ما ثمن عليه البشر إنما كان الذي وحده أوحى الله إلي وأرجو أن يكون
Okay, this is also a very interesting hadith, and also like how in the previous one I told you इसमें थोड़ा सा पेचीदगी है. It's a bit of a tricky ibarat. He also وعنه also narrated Nathar Abu Hurairah قال رسول الله صلى said ما من الأنبياء, there is none from amongst you min nabiin, ما من الأنبياء, there is no nabi from the anbiyas, right? So actually min nabi min al-anbiya supposed to come first. إلا قد أعطي, that he has been given, right? من الآيات, from the signs, ma mithluhu ma amana al-bashar. Actually, he was given such signs, that is which I'm going to do the literal translation and I'm going to give you the understood translation, right? See here, ma min al-anbiya min nabin. This is not from amongst the anbiya any nabi, illa qad utiya, he has been given. Now, min al-ayati, that means there's a first maf'ul, right? And ma mithluhu amana al-bashar is the second maf'ul, right? You with me? So that he has, and then U'tiya is who is the naive file in there, right? You understood that? There's a nice question for exams. It's a nice question for exams, right? So, illa qad u'tiya, yani huwa, he has been given. There's no nabi except he has been given. Min al-ayati, from the signs, ma mithlu, that which humans will believe in him, right? Understood that? So what it means is that every nabi, he has been given sufficient signs just so that the people in his era accept him. That's what it means. Right? You understood that? So you can say Ma Mithlu means Miqdar, also like other previous. So every Nabi, he was just given sufficient proofs, sufficient miracles that for every person of sound intellect would accept him in his time. But Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been given such a miracle that goes even beyond his time, even for thousands of years or hundreds of years after he passes away. People will still be impressed. It will continue to impress people and it will continue to inspire people. You understood that? You sure? I'll say it one more time. What Nabi Sallallahu is saying here in this Ibarat, that every Nabi, he was just given a sufficient miracle so that the people of sound intellect in his time they will be impressed and influenced and they will accept. But Nabi Sallallahu has been given such a miracle that it's not only sufficient for his time, but long after his time also, people will continue to be impressed. People will continue to accept. Are you with me? Right, see. وَإِنَّمَا, then he says, so see, I told you, إِلَّا قَدْ أُعْطِيَ, he's been given min al-ayati, from the signs, ma mithluhu, that which it's like is ma that it's ma mithluhu amana bishar, it is that much that human being will believe in it, right? Right, then he says, وَإِنَّمَا كَانَ الَّذِي أُوتِيتُ, and that which utit, I've been given, wahyin, from the wahi, right? أَوْحَى اللَّهُ إِلَيَّ, that Allah Ta'ala has revealed to me, فَأَرْجُو, I hope, أن أكون, I will be أكثرهم, أن أكون, the most of them, تابعا, with followers, يوم القيامة, on the day of Qiyamah. And there's a muttafaq alayhi, right? So I just gave you the lughi tahqiq briefly, but here in the Shara they give the full lughi tahqiq. I tell you, ma min nabiin, min is zaidiyah. It just means, um, it just say, ma min nabiin, just Nabi is explaining that, ma min al-anbiya'i nabiyun, right? Ma, this, so it will be like you can say, that is, you can say the mubtada of min al-anbiya'i, right? Are you with me? Right? As I give you a detail of tahqiq. Yeah, I say, um, Allama Alusi, Allama, so, no, so, of the author of Ruh al-Ma'ani, Yusuf Khatib. Okay, sorry, leave that part out. So I told you, yeah, coming back, this Minal Ayati means mu'jizat. So every Nabi has been given from the miracles. You understood that? Are you with me? He has been given from the miracles, right? That's the first part. So, Ma min al-anbiya'i nabiyun illa qad u'tiya mu'jizatin. There's no Nabi except that he's been given miracles, right? You following? Ma min al-anbiya'i nabiyun illa qad u'tiya mu'jizatin. He's been given miracles, right? Right. And you know what's a mu'jiza? Mu'jiza means something which is not out of the ordinary, right? Then look at this carefully now, please, here. Ma mithluhu. Ma is mawsul. Like you said, ja'a rajulu alladhi wa qa'imun. The person came, the one who is standing. So ma is what? Is mawsul. And mithluhu is the sila. And I told you here, you can say mithlu comes in the meaning of miqdar, right? So mithluhu is a mubtada, and amana al bashar is a jumla fi'liya, which become the khabar. And that mubtada and khabar becomes the sila of ma. Are you following? And that mawsul sila becomes the second maf'ul. Are you with me? Is that clear? So look at it now. And you take misal in the meaning of miqdar, right? So this is what it means here. ليس نبي من الأنبياء إلا قد أعطاه الله تعالى من المعجزات الدالة على نبوته المقدار الذي من صفة أنه إذا شُهِدَ اضطر الشاهد إلى الإيمان به. It is no Nabi except that he's been given so much miracles that whoever sees it is, or that he will necessarily believe in it, right? So he's been given that amount that when you see it, as opposed to the Quran, that it will exist long after it, and people will be impressed by it. Are you with me? Okay, let's stop there. At time is up. I see my Nazim is also there. So now we will switch over to the tafsir, inshallah. I hope that's clear. I took out some extra time to explain it. So that's two maf'uls. And so in simple words, you must just remember this. Min al-ayat is a maf'ul, and ma mithluhu is ma is mawsula, mithluhu is mubtada, and amara bil bashar is a khabar. That mubtada khabar becomes the sila of ma, and you say mis becomes the of miqdar, and it becomes the second maf'ul. So there's no nabi except that he's been given from the signs that much that people will believe in him, right? While Salvation is given so much that even beyond his life, people will believe in him. Fahimtum? Fahimtumah? Right?